Hello there, I'm Helen Sattler, your Destiny Helper. I'm thanking you for all of your subscription to my YouTube channel. Thank you for all the emails. Thank you for those who have joined my sessions. Thank you so much. And I appreciate that the sessions are helping you and that you are constantly loving the videos. Thank you so much. I am here to address a question, and the question is, what is a vulnerable narcissist? Is there such thing? Absolutely. Absolutely. It seemed like with the characteristics of the narcissist, that would be absolutely impossible. But there is a such thing as a vulnerable narcissist. It is notated as a covert narcissist because they usually remain covered. They want to go undercover. They don't want to be exposed. But a vulnerable narcissist is very draining. And what they do, they usually tend to be sick. Something is always wrong. And no matter how you encourage them, it's never enough. It's never enough. And they're draining because something is always sickly, something is always not done, something is always incomplete. And the more you give to them, the more they need for you to give to them. They are the type that they don't like for you to have relationships other than them. So they are very skilled in divisiveness. They divide relationship. Like if your friend came over, they would divide their friend. They would get sick when the friend is over. Something is wrong when the friend is over. They would even lie on the friend and say the friend is insensitive. They feel very uncomfortable when the friend is over, or they may even curtail a situation where you don't go to work that day because they need you that day. This is the vulnerable narcissist. Now, the word vulnerable means weak, and they have no strength. And so another thing they do, a vulnerable narcissist usually don't like another narcissist because narcissists acknowledge and recognize each other, and a narcissist more than likely don't like to take down. And the one thing a vulnerable narcissist does not like is to draw in a narcissist of strength. They definitely prefer empath because empaths absorb things. They absorb emotion. They pick up emotion. They entangle themselves with everybody's problem. Everybody's problem land on that empath, and somehow the empath takes responsibility or feel like the responsibility is theirs. They are rescuers. They want everything to be all right. They want you to be whole. They want you to be happy. So the empath would throw themselves down to make sure that you are all right in your situation. Where the vulnerable narcissist, when the empath do that, they load them up. And you may hear the words, you just don't understand. You don't take time with me. You don't care for me. You are neglecting me. It's not a matter of neglect. These gaping holes, it doesn't matter how much you put in them, is never enough. If you have a sickness, they would tell you, I am sicker. If you have a weakness, they'll tell you, I am weaker. So when you're sick, they don't want you to tend to yourself. And the day you get sick, they get sicker. I mean, everything is just against them. Everybody is against them. They have rejection issues, abandonment issues, and some of them got locked in themselves because they was terribly and horrifically neglected, maybe even abandoned. And so the vulnerable narcissist is different from the inverted narcissist. The inverted narcissist will often hurt themselves, where the vulnerable narcissists want you to hurt. They only pretend to hurt. They are very controlling, and they will disguise themselves like a covert, and they are in control. They use their weaknesses to control your strength. But you They take you to the weakness that they are, and then they take and remove that weaknesses from you, because that is still a strength to them. If you have any breath, if you have any desire, you have any goals, that to them is what they want to take over. They want to take over because all of the attention that they want themselves. And you will find on your job, they will call on your job, they're crying on your job, and some always happening. Something is always there. Their family don't care about them. If they have children, the children don't care about them. And what is dangerous when there's children is involved, because there are abandonment issues, rejection issues, a lot of them, especially when the female is the vulnerable narcissist. They don't get cared for. The female, and that's why when the child grows of age, that the vulnerable narcissist would turn their responsibility over to the child, and the child now becomes the parent. And that's why there's usually, when someone is there, they are so vulnerable, they make sure that they're taken care of, that somebody is checking in on them, because if not, the kids don't eat, this don't get done. They have a lot of incomplete tasks. They find it very difficult to stay locked into a job, to stay locked into a relationship. And once you don't feed them sympathy and pity, they have all kind of temper tantrums, and they really want to keep that supply intact until they want to choose another supply, because they take so much energy, they take so much time, until most people wear themselves out, until they get sick themselves. And most people have to leave for their sanity, because they are pulling out copious amount of strength. And this is why they tell you, I love you and I need you. They are need based. They are need-based. They never allow you to take it to a want-based or desire-based. They have to have this kind of treatment. Those who are in a business, they hurt just like any other narcissist hurt. They have the attributes of the grandiosity. And what happened is their grandiosity is turned. It's like a grandiosity narcissist, but its turn is flipped, until what they would take in grandiosity, they take in pity. And you say, well, I thought a narcissist can feel. A narcissist doesn't feel the pity. They manipulate the pity toward themselves, because that is converted to fuel. And that conversion to fuel gives them the attention they need. And they are selfish and self-centered. They still focus on themselves. And a lot of times, just because it is vulnerability doesn't mean that they are caring. The narcissist still don't love anyone. They still selfish. They're still self-centered. They would even make up lies like people are hurting them. People are misusing them. And unlike the inverted, when they get like that, they would run into a wall or hurt themselves. The narcissist that is vulnerable like the attention of the vulnerability, but they don't want the wound if it causes wound. They hate being hurt, and they are very manipulative. They scheme like on the job. If you do something and you get too much credit, then they will tell you, I've spent hours assisting them. I didn't even go home. And when they will go home, I will stay up with the project. And that is not true. You stayed up with the project. They will stay with you just to get the credit. And you will find yourself doing most of the project, doing most of the business, because they will come in and say, my side hurt, my back hurt, or I fell down the stairs with no bruises. Come on now. Or they'll tell you, my mom is sick, my aunt is sick, and you feel sympathy. They kick in the dopamine and the oxytocin, and they kick in the other chemicals, and they stay on your feelings. And that in drudgery, can you imagine somebody all day telling you how they're hurting, telling you how they're sick, and telling you what they need. And they are so convincing. Remember, the narcissists begin to affect your life because all of those hormones start taking in, and then you start being addicted. You start being addicted to helping them. Do you know there are some people that cannot live unless they help someone vulnerable, because the narcissist has trained them, especially the vulnerable narcissist, to be vulnerable with them. And they really, really reward you. They will reward you with sexual escapades. They will reward you with hugs and I love you. And then once you get that, they go right back in for the kill, because they are need-based and they need that base fulfilled. And you come home and the kids are not well dressed, the house is not clean, the food is not there. And then when you threaten to leave them, they get up and then they tell you how the house is clean, the kids are fed, the kids are clean, and they tell you what it costs them to do that when it is their job. And then they lie. Like their friend called them, their friend deceived them, their friend sabotaged them, or their friend told them they needed to leave you because you didn't spend enough time with them. And so this is the allotment of the mindset of the vulnerable narcissist. The vulnerable narcissist also can be very vicious. They're emotionally absorbers. They take your emotions and they turn your world upside down. They get you in a vulnerable place where you don't even know how to help them anymore. You done did everything you can do. You done said everything you can say. You took them to their doctor's appointment. The doctors cannot find anything wrong, so they think it's psychosomatic, and they tell you nobody believe me, and then they bring guilt to you so you will believe, because after a while you think that it's just their vulnerability, but after a while they start getting habits, they start building patterns, and you start acknowledging those patterns, that when you give them things, the next moment they're fine. Once you give it to them, they can be limping on the right leg. Next thing you know, they come out of the kitchen, they forgot it was the right leg, and they're limping on the left leg. Not all vulnerable narcissists are sharp in their mind. You know, you can get some coverts that are really cerebral. They're very intentional. But when you got a vulnerable narcissist, they stay in confusion. And because they deal with sickness, and they deal with rejection, and they deal with oppression, and they deal with suicide attempts, they never do it, but they always telling you they're going to commit suicide. They cannot make it. They take the pills out, spread them over the dresser, and then they'll bring you in and let you see them over the pills, and let you hear them saying, I can't make it, life is too hard. And then you go right after them to encourage them. Well, when they feel that you have enough, remember their reward system. Their reward system is to give you what you want, and to give it to you right, and to give it to you good, until once again you're sucked back in. You've forgotten what it takes for the pattern that they've been done. I'm sorry, my phone gets ringing, but they forgot the pattern that took place, that has caused them to say, wait a minute, something is not right, something is wrong, that this can't keep happening, this cannot keep continuing. And then the vulnerable narcissist test you like a regular narcissist. Most narcissists, the reason they know that they're going to get you, they have observed you, went through all of your media sites, and then when they talk to you, they ask all of these questions. You take it as concern, like the love bombing. And when they love bomb you, this narcissist love bomb you, but they come in with the need, and they make you feel like a hero, especially when you're an empath, and they know that you have this rescue mindset. You got to be the great wonder that rescues. And when you utilize that means, they utilize it to the heart because they know that's what you live for. You live to rescue them. And now the vulnerable narcissist, when they get another narcissist, that narcissist don't detect them right away because they are absent of feeling just like the narcissist. But if they get a narcissist that is violent, they don't like to be physically violated. They like to mentally disturb. The inverted likes to be physically violated. And then the cluster B personality, when they, a lot of them, when they get into the borderline personality, where it's accusational, it's accusing, it's always accusing, always accusational. Something is not always right, and then they always blaming themselves. They always said that it's my fault, I'm guilty, and you'll say, no, you didn't do anything, I did that. They'll go, no, I did that. And if you hold that is your fault, then you see them get angry. They're angry because you are taking away their praise. You're taking away their moment. You're taking away their grandiosity. Their grandiosity is weakness, and you are taking it away from them. They then turn to fight you for that. You don't understand me. What is it going to take for you to understand me? I'm giving my all, and look at you. You're making me feel worse. You're making me feel guilty. Now, are you happy for breaking me when I was already broken, for saying those things and I was already wounded? What kind of friend are you? What kind of husband are you? What kind of boss? They will even break down in the boss's office and tell the boss, oh my God, you wounded me so much. And this is why a lot of times they cannot keep jobs, because they are pain absorbers. They are hurt absorbers. They need rescue. Where is Superman? Where is the underdog? I need him with his cape on. Come whisk me away from my mind. Come whisk me away from me. Take me away from the kids. And usually these people live by families, and families are always over at the house. Families always taking care of the kids. Families always helping with the house. Or if they got a business, just so they can keep the business, they give family money to hook them. But the family, the sacrifice is they go to the business and they give their volunteer time, or they get paid and they pay them to work for them, just to be surrounded with praise and honor of their weakness, not of their strength. And you wonder, how in the world did you get a business? Your mind ain't even straight to get up out of the bed and go to work. So how did you get a business? They fiend. They have fetish on your weakness. And when they see that you are losing strength, they feel justified. They feel poised because they're distracting you from you. They're subtracting you from you. There's all this division. And when there's multiplication, the vulnerable narcissists get the multiplication. And if you live with a vulnerable narcissist, that you can't have friends. If you go somewhere, they're calling you. If you're eating somewhere, you always got to bring them something. Or when they are out to eat, the whole conversation is about them. They're easy to cry. They will cry anywhere. In inappropriate places, they cry, because it doesn't matter where the need is. It matters that it gets fulfilled. And that's why some of you that are married to a vulnerable narcissist, dating a vulnerable narcissist, you're finding yourself tired all the time. I mean, extremely tired all the time. You are so tired until you are too tired to sleep. And it's like a vampire sucking the life out of you through all kind of infirmities, all kind of sicknesses, all kind of weaknesses. And to the point you almost despise despise your narcissist, but you'll wonder, why can't I leave them? Because like the narcissist, it's like they're hypnotic and they have this hypnosis on you because you have catered. And the more you cater to them, the more you're vulnerable to them, the more they pull you into the trap. They like you broken. They like you bent over. They like you where you have to depend on them, because the narcissists have need of your fuel. And don't think that the narcissist, just because they're vulnerable, will not triangulate. They will triangulate. If they see another specimen, another order of supply that will give them a little more vulnerability and attention, there you go. And you wondering, where have you been? Then they're angry. You don't trust me. I've been out and I've done this for you. I've done that for you. And all you do is torture me. You torture me with questions. There's somebody else. Sex just goes out the window. Do you know a lot of narcissists, except the somatic, and sometimes the covert is high sexual. These people are high sexual. You're cerebral, you're vulnerable, and then you have your inverted. The inverted have masochistic sex. I mean, they just sadists. So, but the vulnerable narcissist is vulnerable for empowerment. You got to remember, they're not vulnerable because they care about you. They're vulnerable because that's their food. That's their energy. That's their drink. They drink vulnerability and pity. The more pity you give them, the more they almost like they're subservient. And they love bomb you. Your prize is, how bad can I allow you to feel so you can serve me? And the whole conversation is about them. Money issues, they're usually very irresponsible because they're going on pity. I felt bad, so I had to spend this money. I felt bad and I felt better when I bought this. I have a problem. I need to go to the doctor because I can't control my spending. They go and gamble the money up. They go and say they bought something for the homeless because they felt so bad. They wanted to give back to the community. Here goes the praise again. And when you point the praise to them, they point the vulnerability to you. So the vulnerable narcissist can be very energy absorbent. They absorb all of your energy. But the dangerous thing is the narcissist that is vulnerable have a tendency to transfer matter. They transfer their ways. They transfer their needs. And if you stay with them long enough, you're going to find yourself sick. First of all, you drain. You can't rebuild. They don't let you rebuild. They keep hitting it and hitting it and hitting it and hitting it. And if they want to stay there, they allow you to rebuild so you can give them more. But the vulnerable narcissist is very self-centered. Their grandiosity is sickness, infirmities, diseases that the doctors can't find, suicide attempts. They are feverish about pity. And they almost get a release, a climatic release with the pity you give them. These are the vulnerable narcissists who are not so vulnerable at all. They still want to maintain control because a narcissist will not let you control them. Even the inverted narcissist will direct you to hurt them or to their pain. They don't mind rolling down the steps and you running after them. But they inverted like another narcissist. The vulnerable likes an empath. They crave an empath like an inverted crave another narcissist because they know that narcissists know how to torture them right. Well, the vulnerable know the empath, know how to give them the level of sympathy that they need. So they crave empaths. and the empath absorb them and soon lose themselves, and they done got caught with a vulnerable narcissist until the language of the narcissist, the insight of the narcissist, the goals of the narcissist, the ways of the narcissist, and they start to physiologically and psychologically break down until you will find yourself, if you don't get away from them, you're in a corner staring at the walls, wondering what's wrong with you. And when they call, you are now jumping, you are now running, and you will find you just a bundle of nerves because you know you need it. They wake you up in the night, they need something. They don't let you sleep. They make sure that your sleep is taken away and your energy is absorbed. So you're always tired with a vulnerable narcissist. You're always tired because they're always sick. They got 30 doctor's appointments. You got to take them to everyone because they don't want anybody else to take them. They want you to take them. And then when you are dragging in so tired unto this, the grace of God, you made it home, you get your reward just to go to the next day and start it all over again. So, how vulnerable is that? It's not vulnerability at all. It's controlled weaknesses, intentional pity absorbent. Not at all weak, because they're going to stay in control of your emotions. They're going to stay in control of your feelings. They're going to stay in control of your desire. And they make sure that you are so broken down emotionally, you don't have time to give to anybody else. And soon you find yourself friendless. You have no relationship. And when you're at work, you're rushing home because something may be wrong with them. You're taking them to doctors. And a lot of them are so brilliant. Some of them are actually brilliant until they are build a business. They learn how to work social media, but they learn businesses that's not going to take them away from their craft, to be vulnerable, to be miserable, to be hurt, to be wounded, to be pitied. They are going to do everything they can to make sure that you are their hamster. You are trapped in the cage, but you're constantly moving, and you don't have time to re-energize until they stop the wheel. And when they stop the wheel, it is intentionally when they spin the wheel again. A vulnerable narcissist is dangerous to your health. Well, I hope you've enjoyed this. Please leave your comments at the bottom. And thank you for your emails. Thank you for subscribing to my YouTube channel. Thank you for subscribing to my YouTube channel and sending me an email. I do offer classes and sessions for you that will definitely inspire you, strengthen you, and give you empowerment to bring you to your authentic self. I am available to you. Please email me at destinyhepper12s@gmail.com. destinyhepper12s@gmail.com. Write me and let me know that you want to be a participant in these sessions. I would be more than honored to get my schedule, and we will schedule you in, and it will be the beginning of a healthy session. Let's see if we can get you back to your beautiful, authentic self. Life is possible after any narcissist when you know what to do. I am Helen Sadler, your Destiny Helper. Subscribe, like, and share the page. I will see you on the next video.